Hello everyone, my name's Rosie. I'm a medievalist. I'm responsible for the medieval to mid-19th century decorative arts, European decorative arts collections at LACMA. And 2 years ago, I acquired my first piece of contemporary art. It's called Shooting Wallpaper. It was created in 2006 by a German-born, Paris-based artist called Brigitte Ziegler. And it combines a highly distinctive form of print ornament popularized in the 18th century, often utilizing images of passive women in beautiful landscapes, called toile de jouy, and combining it with another quite familiar form of gun violence that we're becoming increasingly comfortable consuming in the domestic sphere in the form of, say, computer games, film, and television. And I'm going to show you a clip of it, I think, so let's see if this works. So that's just a quick clip. The full piece runs on a 9.5-minute loop. I wasn't going to put you through that because I only have 5 minutes. So I first saw this piece in an exhibition called Late Harvest at the Nevada Museum of Art. And I instantly wanted it for my collection, not anybody else's collection, but for my collection, because of the poetic way in which it raises awareness about inherent bias and social expectations of behavior and attitude. And it turned out it was a hit with our acquisitions group, who supports acquisitions for our department. And that was wonderful because the group is very interested in modern and contemporary art, so I don't usually have access to that group. But unfortunately, the main space where we showcase our new acquisitions or masterpieces from the collection, the ceiling was far too tall, so it was logistically impossible to show this particular work that needs to project entirely from floor to ceiling in that space. So that's when we started looking at what we might be able to do in our permanent collection. And I am eternally grateful to my predecessor, Elizabeth Williams, who is here, for having the vision and the foresight to include textile rotations in this gallery, because that affords the endless opportunity for change in what is otherwise a very restrictive space that is tied to budgets and so forth. So what we did was we worked with the artist to reconfigure the work to the new dimensions of the available wall in the middle of the gallery. We worked with costumes and textiles to excavate the collection and discover examples of toile de jouy that had never been shown before. We worked with our IT team to use an old projector that we strapped to the ceiling, to a pole from the ceiling, so that it could be displayed on its side and maximize the pixels and have a clearer image. And it turned out that we had all of the practical and pragmatic skills to create a really stunning and visually powerful installation in the permanent space. What we didn't have, because it's a small budget and fairly small scale rotation, was the kind of advanced planning and post-evaluation that we might have wanted to do for audience reception. Anecdotally, I think we all saw that there was an increase in visitors to the gallery, and that they were spending longer in the gallery, and that they were taking time to explore the wider displays in the gallery as well. And when we posted it on Instagram, it instantly received 5,000 likes. It was hugely successful, and people were posting comments saying that they couldn't wait to come to the museum to see the piece in person. So it wasn't that the digital experience was standing in for the real deal. We also rather regrettably discovered that the education, some of the education specialists had found out that some of their after-school groups with children from neighbourhoods that had experienced more violence found the piece more upsetting and had made a conscious or unconscious effort to focus on other galleries, and that they were avoiding the gallery. We also heard from the artist that she'd visited incognito, and she had witnessed an independent group who were touring the gallery to look at the porcelain, and were rapturous about the porcelain and didn't take the time to understand the contemporary installation and were rather disparaging about it. The artist, fortunately, was very good-natured about it, and said she thought it was kind of funny, but that it had really underlined for her how much work she could do and others could do to bring different perspectives into permanent gallery spaces. So she actually ended up feeling encouraged about it. So while I certainly now want to work towards creating or including contemporary works that have a high interpretive value in a more inclusive or more optional way within permanent galleries, I definitely have convinced myself at least that it's a useful and a meaningful thing to attempt to do. And it was a very interesting experiment for me. And thank you for listening.